Title: The Whispering Willow. In the heart of the tranquil village of Eldermore, surrounded by dense forests and babbling brooks, stood an ancient willow tree known as the Whispering Willow. The villagers believed it was as old as time itself, its gnarled branches reaching out like twisted arms, its leaves rustling even when the air was still. Generations of Eldermore's inhabitants spoke of the ghost that haunted the willow. They said it was the spirit of Alara, a young woman who lived centuries ago. Ilara was known for her beauty and kindness, but her life ended tragically one stormy night. Betrayed by the man she loved, she was left heartbroken and alone. In her despair, she wandered into the forest, seeking solace under the willow. There she succumbed to her sorrow and passed away, her spirit forever bound to the tree. On quiet nights, villagers would hear whispers emanating from the willow, and it was said that those who dared to approach the tree could feel a cold breeze, no matter how warm the night. Some claimed to see a ghostly figure, a woman with long flowing hair, her face pale and sad, moving among the branches. One summer evening, a young girl named Lila, curious and brave, decided to uncover the truth about the ghost of Ilara. Armed with a lantern and her grandmother's stories, she made her way to the willow as the moon rose high in the sky. As Lila approached the tree, she felt an inexplicable chill in the air. The whispers grew louder, forming words that sent shivers down her spine. "Help me," they seemed to say. Undeterred, Lila stepped closer, her lantern casting eerie shadows on the ground. Suddenly, a figure emerged from the tree, ethereal and beautiful, yet unmistakably sad. It was Ilara. Her eyes, once filled with sorrow, now gazed at Lila with a mix of hope and despair. "I am trapped," she whispered, her voice a gentle breeze. "My soul cannot rest." Lila, with her kind heart, knew she had to help. She asked Ilara how she could free her spirit. Ilara explained that she needed forgiveness from the one who betrayed her, but he was long gone. Lila, however, realized that forgiveness could come from another place, the village itself. Returning to Eldermore, Lila gathered the villagers and shared Ilara's story. They held a ceremony under the willow, each person expressing their sorrow for the pain Ilara endured, and offering forgiveness on behalf of her betrayer. As the final words were spoken, the air around the willow seemed to glow, and Ilara's spirit, now at peace, began to fade. The whispering willow's branches no longer rustled with sorrow, but with a gentle, peaceful murmur. The villagers of Eldermore would forever remember the night they freed a soul, and the legend of Ilara became a tale of hope and redemption. Years passed since the spirit of Ilara found peace, and the village of Eldermore thrived in tranquility. The Whispering Willow, once a symbol of sorrow, now stood as a testament to the power of forgiveness and the strength of community. The villagers often visited the tree, leaving offerings of flowers and sharing stories beneath its now serene branches. Lila, now a young woman, was considered the village's guardian. She had grown wise beyond her years, often sought after for advice and guidance. Despite the peace that reigned, she couldn't shake the feeling that the story of the willow wasn't entirely over. One crisp autumn evening, a stranger arrived in Eldermore. Dressed in dark, tattered clothes, he had a haunting presence that set the villagers on edge. He introduced himself as Merrick, a wanderer seeking shelter and work. Lila, sensing a deep sadness in his eyes, offered him a place to stay and tasked to help around the village. As days turned into weeks, Marik's demeanor remained distant and troubled. He often wandered near the Whispering Willow, staring at it with a mix of fear and longing. Lila couldn't ignore the strange connection he seemed to have with the tree and decided to confront him. One moonlit night, she found Merrick by the willow whispering to himself. "Merrick," she called softly, approaching him. "What brings you to this tree every night?" Merrick turned to her, his face pale and eyes hollow. "I am haunted," he confessed, "by a shadow that follows me wherever I go. I believe it is tied to this tree, but I do not know why." Intrigued and concerned, Lila invited Merrick to share his story. He revealed that he was a descendant of the man who had betrayed Ilara. The guilt of his ancestors' actions had cursed his bloodline, and Merrick was the latest victim of the curse, a shadow that sapped his energy and haunted his dreams. Lila knew that the spirit of Ilara had been at peace, but it seemed her pain had left an imprint, a shadow that now plagued Marek. Determined to help, she suggested they perform a ritual to cleanse the shadow. With the villagers' support, they prepared for a night of ancient rites. Under the full moon, the villagers gathered around the Whispering Willow. Lila, with Marek by her side, led the ceremony. They chanted prayers for forgiveness, healing, and the release of the shadow. As the night deepened, a cold wind swept through the clearing, and the shadow that had haunted Marek appeared, a dark, swirling mist. The villagers held their breath as Lila, with Marek's help, confronted the shadow. "We acknowledge the pain and suffering of the past," Lila declared, "but we seek to break the chains of sorrow and free this soul from its torment." The shadow hesitated, then slowly began to dissolve. As it faded, a sense of relief washed over Marek, and the willow's branches seemed to glow with a soft, comforting light. From that night on, Marek was free from his curse. The villagers welcomed him as one of their own, and the Whispering Willow stood as a beacon of hope and redemption. Lila continued to watch over Eldermore, knowing that the legacy of the willow would live on, a reminder that even the deepest wounds could heal with love and forgiveness.